Hey guys, welcome back to the game room. Today we're going to be looking at the PlayStation, my PS1 collection. So this is following on from my previous two videos for the PlayStation 2 collection and the PlayStation 3 collection. If you've not seen those videos, just click on the channel and check them out, see what you think. Let me know in the comments. So I've got a few games for the PlayStation. I haven't been buying games much recently in the last few months at all, so the collections are still quite small. But in 2023, I want to add some more games to the collection, start building the PlayStation collection up, because I'm getting to a point now where I'm actually running out of things to play as well, so I need some new games to play. But the ones I've got some really great games that I've been really enjoying a lot, and there's one I haven't even shown you yet, which I picked up months ago, so that'll be shown in a minute. And yeah, the first game I've got is a game I picked up months ago. If you watch I think it was my first PlayStation 2 pickups, I'm not certain, the one with the big cardboard box full of games. In that video, I pull out a PlayStation 1 game and put it to the side and said I'll show you in a later pickup video. But of course, I haven't been buying games, so I haven't been able to make a PlayStation 1 video since then. But now I'm doing the collection, I can show you what I've got. I've been wanting to play this for years, and I saw it, and it was really cheap. And I bought a load of PlayStation 2 games from the same guy, so when I saw he had this, I had to grab it. And it is Area 51. So, really nice. Black label as well. There's a lot of platinums knocking around, but I got myself a nice black label copy. And it's all, I won't open it because these cases are brittle as anything. Yeah, really nice light gun game. Nice condition. Great stuff. I'm really happy with this actually. It's in lovely condition. Americans are very lucky because they only got CD cases, so it's very easy to replace them. We got these bloody things. But I do like these cases, I think they're great, and I love the black spines on them. I think the cases themselves are really nice and chunky. It's just unfortunately they're quite brittle, and if you're not careful they can break easily, but oh well. But yeah, I bought Area 51. As I've said before, when talking about other Area 51 games, I'm a big fan of aliens and UFOs and Area 51 in general, and this game really appealed to me because it looked like it had got those digitised graphics from back in the day. You have real actors in the game. I've played it because you can use the controller. It doesn't sound about you can use the controller, it just says mouse compatible. But I've since found that you can use the analog controller. I think it was digital D-pad only. And you can use, I think it's the Justifier or the Hyper Blaster, I think it's called in the UK, which is the Lethal Enforcer gun. So I will be getting that gun at some point, but I just put it on just to see if the analog controller would work. And it did. It let me use my D-pad to move the cursor. And it's like playing Hard Trilogy, and it works great, so I would definitely recommend picking it up if you haven't got the light gun. You can still play it, and it works fine with the D-pad. Graphics are really nice, really colourful. I mean, the digitised graphics are what they are, but it's still kind of fun. It's cool. You got, like, I think the UN, if I remember right, I'm sure the United Nations guys, and they sort of just walk in and wave you on and go, hey, come with me, kind of thing. And then these aliens pop up and you blast them. I was playing it the one afternoon, and I got totally sucked in. I had a right laugh with it. Really good. So yeah, I mean, there's not that many light gun games. I was watching Gaming Off the Grid recently. They did a video ages ago about light gun games on PlayStation, which was really cool because there was a few I'd never heard of, and I think a couple of them are actually American exclusive, so I'd have to chip the PlayStation, unfortunately. But there's some good ones that I can get anyway. I mean, obviously the two main ones I want are Time Crisis Black Label and Time Crisis Project Titan. Time Crisis Black Label is a bit of a shit to get, because there's so many, the majority of copies available are the bundle copy that comes with the gun. So you have to really hunt for the black label. And if you're lucky, sometimes you can get it for a reasonable price. There's some people take the piss, of course, eBay. But I will get one eventually. Next one is one I'm glad to have in the collection. It's a really great collection of games. That is the Capcom Generations collection in the lovely double cases. I mean, this is what I'm on about with our games. I do love these double cases. They might be a pain in the arse to keep in good nick, but these old cases are great, and it's in really, really nice condition. I was proper chuffed with this one. I'll try and open it and show you everything. I'll be very careful, but it's in absolutely immaculate condition. Look at that. It's got both manuals, all the discs in there. There you go. Absolutely fantastic shape. And if I just pop that out of there, no one's going to regret this, but there you go. There's the other disc. So yeah, it's in lovely, really, really nice shape. I got very lucky. And I also love the fact that it's got a HMV £35 sticker on there. So that's staying. I'm never taking that off. It's really cool. But yeah, great collection of games you've got on there. You've got the Ghouls and Ghosts games, Ghosts and Goblins. You've got the 1942 and 1943 Kai, I believe, is on there. But my favourite disc is the I think it's called Blazing Guns or something, the fourth disc, where you get Mercs Commando and I was going to say Gumshoe, man. That's like an old Commodore 64 game that I completely forgot about. Whoa, That was a weird flashback. Gunsmoke, which all arcade versions are absolutely great. I was playing Gunsmoke the other day, because normally I just play Mercs, I'll just play through Mercs in like an hour or however long it takes me. I love that game. But Gunsmoke's really, really good. I've played the NES version years back. I had it when I had a modded NES. But I played the arcade one on here. It's really, really good. Commando, it's always been a nightmare of a game. I just can't get very far in that game. You get your ass handed to you, but it's still fun. But yeah, great collection. It's also got, I think it's like the originals. Also, I can't remember exactly what the disc's called. I'll have to open it up. But it's got some like really basic original Capcom games. The one game begins with a V, and I can't think what it's called. I don't think it's written on the back of it. I'm sure it's a V. It's like a tiny little spaceship vertical shooter. Pretty fun little game as well. Yeah, so great collection. Well worth having that one. Next up is one that goes into my PlayStation pretty regularly. Hard Trilogy. So yeah, I'm always playing Die Hard 2. I need to put some time into Die Hard. Number 3 I'm no good at. I just can't get anywhere. But the first one I really need to put some time in and try and beat it. I've never done that. I beat number 2 again. Was it 2 days ago, 3 days ago? A couple of days ago I beat it. I've got my high score back up there. I got first place, second place. I beat my second place, so I've now got first, second and third. Didn't come close to the first place, unfortunately. But yeah, Die Hard 2, Die Harder is absolutely brilliant and just worth owning this just for that one game. Then, of course, I've got Die Hard Trilogy 2, which has got a scratch. And I didn't even know it got that on there. No, it doesn't matter. Getting picky. So yeah, this is Die Hard Trilogy 2, Viva Las Vegas. Very good game. I prefer the first one. It's the same again. It's like number 1 is third person running around. Second one is a light gun. Third one's a car game. First one's pretty good. Third one, again, like the first game, not unimpressed. But the second one, the light gun game's really good. Controls, not as great. You use the analog stick instead of the D-pad. And I found it took me a long time. I've gotten better over time as I've played it, but I find it really hard. I did one time, probably during the pandemic, I think, I had a light gun. I played it with the light gun. I thought it was a bit shit, to be honest. I tried both Die Hard 2s with the light gun. It's not as fun. It works much better with the D-pad for me. I didn't enjoy the light gun experience at all, which is bizarre, really. Next one is another double case. Doom. I mean, what can I say? It's Doom. One of the greatest games of all time. And one of the best ports as well, in my opinion. All hell's breaking loose. I love Doom. I've been playing this again recently as well, trying to complete this. I've never completed the PlayStation version. I've got quite far into it. I don't know how many levels there are, so I don't know how far I've actually got. How great is that cover? So yeah, I'm really enjoying it. It's very playable, very fun. I got to a level the other day and I got stuck. I kept running out of ammunition and getting my arse handed to me, but I eventually worked it out and got through it. But yeah, it's just brilliant. I mean, Doom it's a great game. It's after all these years, it still holds up. The music's really good. The graphics are gorgeous. It plays really well. Yeah, it's a little stiff because you're using a D-pad, not a keyboard and mouse, but I really enjoy it. And then yesterday, I was trying to play Final Doom, which is bloody hard. And I was only on the first level. I had to drop the difficulty down. Now, normal Doom, I have it on like medium setting. This one, I was one above the lowest. I mean, I was just getting my arse handed to me massively on this one. I don't know what was going on. It's like every time you walk into a room, there's just loads of enemies and just swarm you, and you get hit from all directions and you don't realise they're there. And I found it a lot harder than the first Doom. So I'm going to have to really practice on that one. I've just noticed as well, Final Doom is mouse compatible. I didn't know that. I know you've got link cable because back in the day when I got my PlayStation in '97, I had this. Me and my best friend got 2 CRTs and our PlayStations and our copies of this game, and we did the link up and it was brilliant. That's the first one. The first one's got link, but it hasn't got mouse. That's a shame. I would like to know, does anybody know, because I've never used a PlayStation mouse, so please let me know if you have got one. How does it work? Because obviously you haven't got a keyboard. So how do you move the character around? Because the mouse, from memory when I had a PC, was more to look around. When it wasn't even strafe, you used the keyboard for strafe and the mouse to look around and shoot. So I don't really know how the hell you would do that on a PlayStation. But I'm going to get a PlayStation mouse at some point. I want to get the peripherals, I want to get the multi-tap, the mouse, the light gun, all that kind of thing, or light guns, because I need to get the Justifier Hyper Blaster, and I need to get the G-Con 45, which is the greatest light gun of all time. So that will happen. I definitely want to try the mouse though, because you can get Lemmings, and I really want to play Lemmings on PlayStation. I've never tried that. Next one is a phenomenal game, one of my absolute favourites, very nostalgic for me, Medal of Honor. I'm a massive fan of the series. I've got them across different consoles. This is still one of my absolute favourites. It plays great. I played through it recently, and it's just so much fun. I mean, there's nostalgia attached to it, but it's all the sound design is what I love about this game. You know, the voices from the Nazis, the dogs barking, the environmental sound effects. It's just great. And you know, it's still when you shoot them and they hop around, it's really funny. But it's a really solid game, and it holds up exceptionally well. Yeah, the graphics are really old, but the actual gameplay experience is so much fun, and you'll really enjoy yourself. Then I've got Medal of Honor Underground, the follow-up, which is to me the better game. They really improved a lot. The graphics are nice, still got great sound. I just enjoy the levels more on this. There's a lot more variety and it's a lot more interesting. And yeah, it's a really, really solid game. And it's got better controls as well from what I can remember. So yeah, definitely recommend them, both of those games. They're absolutely superb. Next one I've got is one that's going to have to be replaced because it's a pack-in version, unfortunately. I've just kept it for when I get a light gun, and that's Point Blank. So I don't think these games are particularly cheap either. So I will have to replace it because at the moment it's got not to be sold separately, and that'll just do my nut. So, and also there's the sticker damage, and I've tried getting them off with multiple options, and yeah, it's a pain in the arse. So yeah, I'm not a massive Point Blank fan, but they are quite fun party games, and I love my light gun games. So yeah, I will get that again at some point, Black Label proper, without them not sold separately, and I'll get the other two as well. Next up is an Atari game. I got Pong. So just wanted to try these Atari games, see what they did with them, because I've played Asteroids in the past and that was really good. So I wanted to see what they did. This is alright, it's decent. It's just basically Pong, but in different environments and different boards. Yeah, it's okay. It's nothing majorly impressive, but it's good enough. Next one, great game, very nostalgic, phenomenal racing game. Ridge Racer Type 4, absolutely incredible. I love this game. You get drift. The music is great. The graphics are great. It holds up nicely. I still love I was trying to think who I was watching the other day. I think it was Ash81B for you. He was doing his PlayStation collection. It must have been him, and he had it on in the background, and it had that intro where you see the woman get in the car and that music. Oh, yeah, exceptional game. Another Atari game. This was really cool. This wasn't what I expected when I played it. Space Invaders. So you might think, well, why is it not what we expected? It's Space Invaders. I thought this was just the old game, just revamped with nicer graphics, but it's not. It's actually a fully fledged PlayStation version, and it's really good. It's got boss fights in there. It's got nice graphics. It's just Space Invaders, but really well done. So yeah, I was quite impressed with that one. Next up is a great shooter, and somehow being a vertical shooter, it's still cheap as well. Don't know how that happened, but I'm glad it is because I really enjoyed this one. I actually played it, most of it yesterday. I got near the end and got killed, unfortunately. But Strikers 1945 2. I'm not a big vertical guy either. I prefer horizontal shooters by far. They are absolutely my favourite. But yeah, this is a really, really cool game. I don't know if you can see the screenshots there. Really nice. So very easy to play and very cheap. You can get it for under a tenner still, or at least I assume you can. I haven't checked for a while, but I paid £8 including postage, so not bad at all. Then we have, of course I have to have these in my collection. James Bond Tomorrow Never Dies. I'm very close to the end. I've got 2 levels to do, but I'm on the level that drives me nuts. I never remember the name of the character. Is it Mei Ling? I'm not sure. But you have to play as her, and you have to shoot down the helicopter, and you have to shoot these big guns, and that's the only reason I haven't gone to do it, because it annoys the shit out of me trying to take that helicopter out. Because when I completed this 2 years ago, I had so many attempts trying to take that helicopter down. Drove me crazy. But the game, I really enjoy. Yeah, alright, the controls, the camera, it's not brilliant. It's very, very loose, and it does swing around quite a lot. But I love the fact that it's in third person. It controls, once you get used to the controls, and you're just very gentle with the analog stick, because as I say, it does sway a lot. It's alright, and also if you try not to use the aim as well, just free aim, it works so much better. But this as well, you may know that I interviewed Tommy Tallarico a couple of years back. He did the sound design for this game, and I love the sound design of this game. I never knew it until afterwards, and I knew he'd worked on James Bond. I didn't know it was this game. And at the beginning of the game, it comes up Tommy Tallarico Studios, And he did one of my favourite sound effects of all time on this, which is the machine gun sound effect on this game. It's just absolutely brilliant. It's so powerful and visceral, and it's got like a chain sound effect to it. I absolutely love it. It's the one thing that always stood out for me. And it's the only Bond game I played on PlayStation at the time when it came out. And I really enjoyed it. I've completed it before, as I say, 2 years ago. I will go back and do it at some point. It's just that one level. So annoying. But the rest of the game is really fun. People will slag that game off left, right and centre, and I highly recommend having a go with it. Yeah, as I say, the controls and camera are a bit shit, but once you get used to it, you'll have a lot of fun with it. It's got a good story to tell and some good level design. And actually, the graphics are really bright and colourful as well. Next up is The World Is Not Enough, which is a game I never played back in the day. I only played it since I've become a collector, and it's a really, really good first-person shooter. And it's different to the N64 game as well, which makes it worth having. So both of those games are excellent. I've played them both. I've completed this one a few times now. I actually completed it again a couple of weeks back, and it's just great. I mean, not only do you do the first-person shooting, you have some sort of vehicle bit and all, which not really. You're sort of on rails on a vehicle while you're shooting, which is good enough. You do some gambling in the casino, and yeah, it's a really, really fun title. I was quite impressed with it, actually, and as that's my favourite Pierce Brosnan film as well, that helps quite a lot. Right, so the last couple of games. First one we got is a V-Rally, so Black Label version. So love V-Rally. So this is not the one I played back in the day when I had my PlayStation. I played number 2. That was the game that got me into rally games. I love that game. But I wanted to try this and see what it's like. It's not as good as number 2. I think the controls are really awkward. You're using the D-pad instead of the analog stick, and it feels really difficult. Yeah, I couldn't really keep the car on the road that much, and every time I did get half decent at it, I'd get halfway around the track and just crash. It's quite difficult. It's not like number 2. Number 2, I can get around the track quite easily. But people did recommend in the comments to me months ago that there is the Platinum version, which I would never buy Platinum versions again. However, this version allows you to use the analog stick. So I picked it up to try the analog stick, and I got to be totally honest with you, the analog stick made it worse. It should have made it a lot easier, but I found it was way too sensitive, and the car was just swaying left and right and crashing all over the place. So as much as I'm not a big fan of the D-pad is the better way to play the game, for me at least anyway. If you can use the analog stick, kudos, because I can't. It's terrible. And the last game I got is V-Rally 2, which, as I say, is the first rally game I played. Love this game from back in the day. This is a massive nostalgic game. Whenever I think about PS1, this is one of the games that I think about. I love the music in this game. It's so cool, so 90s. And, you know, the voiceover. And it just plays great. The levels are really good. It looks nice. It handles well for the time for what it could do, obviously, you know. But yeah, great game. So there you go, guys. That's the PlayStation collection as is. I will be buying new games in 23. So as I do, I will put up new pickup videos, show you what I've been getting for it. The most pickup videos probably at the beginning of the year onwards are going to be more PlayStation 2, Xbox, because those are the cheaper games to pick up at the moment. There's a lot of cheap PlayStation 1 games, don't get me wrong, so there's a good chance I will add some of those in at some point. But I'm hoping next year to try and concentrate on the more expensive games first and work backwards, because there's a few games I really want to get which are starting to creep. So games like Castlevania Chronicles, the Super Pan Collection, Jackie Chan Stuntmaster, which is hovering around anything at the moment between like 50 to 70, depending on the day and the person and the condition. I also want to get Raiden Project as well, because that looks absolutely incredible. I love the Raiden games. So yeah, and then after that you come down to the cheaper, well, I say cheaper, you're still talking like 30 odd quid, but you're talking like the R-Type games, R-Types and R-Type Delta. And yeah, I want to get all those done, and then I can just worry about all the cheaper games after that. I mean, even when I was watching Ash the other day, and he was talking about me actually, because he had a game called One, O-N-E, and it's like O.N.E. And that was a game that I bought from, I think it was Cash Generators years ago. And I'd played it on Pirate when I was a kid, or teenager, and really loved it. And I bought it back from Cash Generators that one day for like £1 or something. And I just absolutely sucked at it. I couldn't, it was so hard. And Ash was talking about how hard it is. I looked it up, and I think it was, I can't remember, it was 25 or 30. I think it's about 25 quid upwards at the moment for a copy of that game. So it's not that expensive. It's still like, Jesus, that game really isn't worth that money. But so I will want to get that again. I want to give it another try. And there's a really cheap game I want that I've not played yet. which is Apocalypse with Bruce Willis. I've heard so many people talk about how great that game is over the years, so I've got to give that a shot. It's about £8, not an expensive game. But as I say, I want to try my best next year to start by getting those, what I would class as heavy hitters. Obviously, to most people, a heavy hitter would be Castlevania Symphony of the Night, but to me, the most heavy hitter of my game collection is going to be Castlevania Chronicles, which, you know, it got to me because there's a video on my channel from years ago. I picked up a copy of Castlevania Chronicles from Amazon, and it was £18. Man, I wish I hadn't sold all those games back then. But hey, you know, you live and learn. The game collection evolves. It is what it is. So there you go, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps promote my video. And if you want to see more content from me, click on the subscribe and ring that notification bell. And I'll see you in the next video.